Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's interview with Rachel Obenshain from Xeni. As you all know, we're very passionate about helping founders and startups to create value from their equity. And one of the best ways to do that is to learn from industry leaders, from their experience, so we can learn from their successes and their hard-earned experiences as well, the hard-earned lessons as well, which we all have many of in our founder journey. So today I have the amazing Rachel. I'm sure we can cover, a bunch of interesting equity-related insights today. Xeni allows you to sell travel online under your own brand. So I'm really interested to learn more about that, giving you the control that only big online travel sellers have today. So welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about Xeni. It sounds like a really interesting platform.
Yeah. So Xeni is an infrastructure that helps people who want to sell travel online do so instantly. You can think of it like a Shopify for travel. But what's especially unique about it is that our infrastructure is actually built on the blockchain. So we're able to provide secure records keeping on a decentralized ledger, and we're able to provide instant settlement of commissions and COGS to industry participants, which is something that nobody else can do.
Wow, that's so cool.
A very unique product, yeah.
So, like, for example, with a trip that might have multiple parts, as parts are completed, the payments can happen instantly or something like that.
As soon as the trip becomes non-refundable,
Gotcha.
all of the counterparties can get settled,
Oh
and
yeah,
they'll
so
be able
like
to.
I had that
Yeah.
the other day. I booked a trip, like a ski trip, and there was a date coming up, and we had to sort of cancel by a certain date. So in this circumstance, that transaction could happen instantly. Oh, awesome.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
very
Yeah.
cool, very cool. What brought you to try and solve this problem?
Well, I had actually spent my whole career as an investor. So I was in private equity and then public equity managing money. But one of the industries that I covered was travel. So I knew the industry really well, and I knew my co-founder of this business. I'd known him for a number of years, and he'd been thinking about how to solve supply chain problems in travel. And he came to me with this solution that he'd come up with this vision, and I agreed to join him full time to build it.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
two co-founders.
Yeah.
How do you divide up all the chaos and many different hats that you need to wear? I'm always
Yeah.
intrigued by that.
We come with really, really different skill sets. So there's never been any question of who would handle what. It's actually been really obvious between us who would handle what. With my background in finance and business, I handle, all of the investor stuff, the modeling stuff, the legal, the HR, all of that, and all the kind of writing and presenting. And his passion is the product and the vision and the solutions. And so he handles a lot of the tech build out and the client management and the selling. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, really similar to us. We call it the yin and yang. I think a lot of
Yeah.
great founding teams have that. And so it's so obvious where you're going to be hanging out that, there isn't too much conflict. So yeah, really cool.
Exactly.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And I suppose with the hats that you're wearing, you'd be responsible for capital raising, cap table management, the stock option plan and things like that.
Yep. That's right.
Awesome. And I guess in your journey now, you've sort of been through seed, I think. I'm not sure if you're at Series A,
We're not at Series A. Yeah.
but you've got a bunch of team members. What are some of the pain points that you've seen with handling your equity over the last, few years?
Yeah. I mean, it is indeed a pain point. I think the pain points with handling the equity have been that the systems that we've been using were, I think, maybe overly complex for what we needed. So they were really hard to make use of because they had so many bells and whistles that it was hard to find what we were even trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And we were trying to do something reasonably straightforward, which was just know who were our investors and how much had they given us? How much did they own? We have safe notes. We would like to know, what would the dilution look like if they converted? And that theoretically should be a simple question to answer, but it never was. We wanted to know how many options had we given out and how much was left in the pool, and what percentage did each person hold, and at what strike price. And again, these are questions that you would hope would be simple to answer, but it's actually had been, in our experience, quite hard.
Been really hard. Yeah, I heard that you came over from another provider, so it's always nice, I guess, to see that occur as a founder, and I think it helps you, with confidence that you've tried to, sold the product in the right way. So, so some of the advantages, I guess, of Cake are around those things. So being able to access the right information at the right time, perhaps some simplicity elements. I mean, do you want to maybe talk to why you chose Cake?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really, really simple, easy to use interface, and it seems like it's targeted at exactly who my company is, right? So we're not an organization that has hundreds of thousands of employees and maybe like 75 different types of securities, right? It's just really what we're doing. And so it's very easy to find everything. It's extremely easy. For example, what happens if my safe notes convert? It's one button. It's all, I think it might even be written like that. And then you just hit the button and it shows you. It's so great. It's so easy. I love that, whereas before it was very, very complicated to do, and it inevitably went wrong, and I never knew the answer at the end or had any conviction that I'd done it right. So I come from a career in finance, right? So for other people, I can't even imagine how much worse it would be. So I love the simplicity, and I really appreciate that it's a startup. Like my company's a startup, and so the service and the attention and the help that you get is really amazing. And so, for us, like, for example, we'd spent thousands and thousands of dollars on lawyers to keep all this information current in the last system. And that was just on top of how much it already costs for just the subscription to the last system. But it's so much easier to do it on Cake that I don't need that. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, I absolutely love hearing that. And something you mentioned in the answer really resonated with me. I spent 20 years in finance, and when I came into the startup space, I was helping, startups raise capital. I just couldn't believe the complexity. Every single time you went to a lawyer, they would explain everything under the sun to you, and just the complexity. And then every lawyer has a different opinion, and then the lawyer and the accountant kind of argue with each other. And we just thought, whoa, we can't be having founders handling this amount of complexity in these first couple of rounds. Like, we just need to get through this stuff so that we can, build these companies, free founders up to be working on the really important, not that your equity is not important, but like get them in with the customer, get them with the team, get them out of this admin.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not at the core of what we do, right? Like my company, that's not what we do. We're not in the business of providing cap tables to people. Your company is, but my company isn't.
Yeah.
So I don't get like extra credit if it's extra great for doing that. It doesn't help me at all. And so to deploy a huge amount of financial resources and time to that effort, which we're really doing as a convenience for ourselves and as a courtesy for our investors, like it made no sense.
Exactly. No, I love that. I love that. And how does it work at Xeni? Is it yourself doing that? Have you got some team members helping you? I'm always intrigued how people are tackling this, with the different roles within the company at the different stages.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's me that's always handled that. And then our attorney, has admin rights and I guess just goes in to check that I've not done anything wrong. But that's how we handle it.
Yeah, awesome. And so it's more you running it with the attorney supporting as opposed to the other way around. We do sort of see it both ways. Perhaps that's because of your finance background and that extra ability that you have to handle financial matters.
Yeah. Well, again, like on the other platform, it really was entirely the attorney handling it. And I tried not to get involved, and it was super confusing. And like, options issuance would have to go to a draft form first, and then it was very complicated. Did it make it out of draft? Did they get issued? I don't know. Wow. This is a little less complicated, so I don't have to worry about that. It's actually quite easy. Yeah.
I love that. Like, we love attorneys and they're important, but when you talk to them, oh my God, they can really confuse an issue.
It's just expensive. It's just that you think to yourself, I'm paying an extra X dollars to hand out this option because of all the time that I will have to spend on this other person's labor to get it done.
Very cool. I can't tell you how excited I am to hear this, because that's exactly what we've been trying to do. So
yeah,
really glad that's working like that for you. And I think the team were telling me that you have international options too. So are you issuing options in multiple countries?
yep. And I would think that a lot of startups engaged in development are going to have to be doing that, because like our dev team, a lot of them are in India.
Sure.
And we have salespeople in Latin America and Asia, because our product is global, because travel is global. And so all those people have to be incentivized, and yeah.
Absolutely. So it was important to you to have the whole team, no matter where they were, incentivized, engaged, and retained correctly. We sort of have the
Uh-huh.
view that, so much of the value of your startup in the first few years is within the people, because, the brand is growing, the product is improving, like everything's just still so new. So to be able to engage and retain your team, especially cross-border, it's such an important element.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're working just as hard as we are from whatever country they're in, so yeah, they have to be incentivized that way.
Had you tried to tackle the international stock options before Cake, or how have you been doing that so far?
Yeah, I mean, those people are non-employees, right? So the way that we've done it is that they're contractors, right, or advisors. They sign an advisory agreement, and we're able to give them options as non-employees, because we don't have any, it, trying to have full-time employees outside of the United States is effectively impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're an American company, because the complexity of whatever goes on, yeah, you can't do it. So
Have you gone with NSOs like across the board, or have you got some ISOs as well?
no, we have ISOs because we have US based employees. So we have a US based team, and they all have ISOs. They're all full-time employees, but the international folks are all NSOs.
Cool. Great insight. Great insight. I'm going to take a little bit of a different tack here. I hope you don't mind. We've got International Women's Day coming up, and we try and do what little we can, or everything we can, I suppose. I'm not trying to claim that we're, I guess just we saw it and we're like, wow, let's chat about it. Like, this is pretty cool. Let's do what we can to promote, women founders and women in tech. So, from your experience, do you have any advice for women founders?
Think that I think this is actually a great field to be a woman in, honestly, because the thing about building a company, right, is that people they really want great talent, and they want people who are committed and excited and hardworking and ready to be there. And so if you're that, it really doesn't matter if you're male or female or other, like, people that don't care. And so I think any industry like that, where what people are really passionate about talking about is the business and the opportunities and all the other things, all the possibilities, right? You can fit right in. It's great. I mean, I had my first job, or second job, I guess, before business school, was in private equity. And I did find that my inability to talk about college basketball was like a huge handicap in that in that career. And
Yeah,
it's just not.
now they have 2 or 3 minute summaries of all the sport games, so you can just watch little. You don't even know. Fair enough.
I wouldn't even care enough to do that. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
this, it's actually a phenomenal fit, because people are just so passionate about what they're doing, that if you're also passionate, you can, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, the reason I originally went into innovation entrepreneurship, with a view to, trying to change the world. It's that whole, like, things aren't going to change unless you get involved. And then the more I hung out with all these amazing people with similar growth mindsets and willingness to just, dig deep, work on their passions, try and change the world, I just couldn't believe how many interesting and excited and energetic people that I come across. So, I think it's a wonderful industry, and I'm a big advocate. And, I think from a statistical viewpoint, and not to be negative, you know, like the amount of funding going into female founders is still super, super low, but I'm always so shocked because I find so many, you know, good, great women in tech, like every day, every week. We've got tons of female founders, so look, I'm sure it's all about to change. You know, and having great founders like yourself leading the way, you know, it's awesome to see.
I hope so. You know, I think that I was reading some VC talking, and they talked about, you know, just that if it's not a warm intro, then the odds of investing are so low.
Yeah.
And so I assume that does handicap some female founders if they are not, you know, didn't come up through that community or through Y Combinator or whatever it needs to be. But you know, I still see a lot of successful female founders out there and a lot of people getting funded. So I know they're finding a way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently, actually. You know, because there's a bit of a stereotype probably, but like guys hang out with guys, girls hang out with girls to a large degree. We need to really cross that barrier. There might be networking events and you go and hang out, but like we really need to have male, female, like quality friendships that aren't just like going to network events or like, you know, like I think that that's actually something that's really lacking. I've been really trying to close that gap personally in my network to have, you know, stronger one-on-one connections with females in the industry. And then, as you say, it's so much easier for me to be giving warm intros into my network if I know
Because then you know them.
these leaders in a better way, and I really understand them better. So I think that's part of the challenge, but that's just my opinion. And I don't know, I think it's an important thing to try and solve. As soon as I had a daughter, I was like much more connected into this problem. Not to try and like oversimplify it, but I'm like, oh, my poor daughter, like let's try.
I mean, I guess I have really not yet seen the bias. So just talking to other founders, it's hard for everybody to raise money. You know, like everybody's looking around going, how do you do it? So I think it's, you know, I guess there's some like mythical community of people out in San Francisco that knows how to do it, and then nobody else, you know, is probably kind of what it sounds like. So.
I think that's actually true. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So I guess we've talked a bit about equity, and what about capital raising? How have you guys found the capital raising process? You know, like preparing for your next round, you know, would you be thinking about a safe? Would you be thinking about a priced round? How are you sort of seeing, you know, the cap table side of things for your next round?
Yeah, I mean, so we've done 3 distinct rounds. The first was a priced friends and family round, very small, got us started. Second, 2 were much larger safe note rounds. You know,
Congrats.
now, yeah, and those I would sort of consider to be pre-seed rounds. And now we're probably going to, in the next 6 months, look to see if we can do a seed round, a real seed round. And I suspect that would be a safe again.
Okay.
Just because I think, yeah, from the conversations I've had, I think that you really don't do a priced round until a Series A.
Okay, that's a really interesting insight. I'm sure people would be, you know, really, really keen to hear that. I know sometimes seed, I think, is priced as well, but they're kind of complex, aren't they? Once you price it, just so much more work, and kind of got to have everything all lined up at the same time. And
yeah, I mean, I can imagine it being. My guess is that especially as the fundraising environment is harder now, it'd be harder to do a priced round because people want that optionality. But we'll see. I don't know.
Cool, good insight. And like, so yeah, a few pre-seeds and then a seed. That's kind of interesting. What are the sort of milestones that you're working towards? You know, that sort of give you an indication that it would be seed and not Series A.
It's entirely about the revenue generation, right? So our product is really technologically complex. Like it's a massively complicated. I mean, we've literally rebuilt Expedia, but made it Shopifyable, meaning you can instantly launch your own full service travel selling website, and it includes a CRM, and it includes a a blockchain-based infrastructure.
Wow. Yeah.
And we've built all that and have launched, hundreds of websites spun out of it, of people running their own travel selling business and collecting commissions. And then we're paying them, instant redemption through our blockchain payment settlement engine. So this is not like a small kind of, simple thing. And so the building phase took, a year and a half. And so we've just launched it after kind of like a long build phase, and now it's starting to generate revenues. And so over the next sort of 6 to 12 months, as it grows, I think that's what'll determine what round we raise at next.
No, I love that. That really resonates with me. We built a super complex product as well. The table stakes for a cap table were like really significant, and the complexity was very high. And then we had to take the complexity and simplify it for our USP. So, it really did take us some time. We've done three. We've called them all seed rounds, but I think it's sort of like a bit different in Australia where we started out. The bars a bit, like all those sort of bars and milestones are a little bit different. We've now got US leads and things like that, working towards US Series A. So look, great insight. Thanks for sharing that. And so look, anything that you wanted to add that we didn't cover around, like just how you're managing your cap table, or the things that stand out about Cake that have helped you along the way?
It's really just been how simple it is to see the information that I'm looking for, which I really value, because I'm like, I have a couple things I want to see, and it's really easy to find them, and I'm very happy about that. And also just how open, when there've been things where I say, you know what, this could be better, and I've written it to my contact there. She's been like, think that's great insight. We're going to work on that. I mean, it's just like, it's a really nice relationship. So awesome. I very much appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and we're very grateful as well for you joining. To finish, we like to cover. We call it inside Cake. We call it our creative, healthy lifestyle. It's sort of a big part of our culture, and it helps to empower and motivate our team. It helps with work-life balance and to minimize burnout and things like that. So, how do you sort of balance, I guess, the workload of being a founder and keep yourself energized?
I do yoga multiple times a week, and I started taking karate this year.
Oh, nice.
So I'm about to get promoted to yellow belt.
Yellow belt, nice.
The second belt, but that's what, I'm so I got that, and I've got my family and my dog, and so a lot of great non-work activities.
A lot of bucket filling there. What's been the karate? How's that sort of hitting you? Is it the sort of the physicality of it? Is it getting some of the anger out? Is it some of the, I guess there's a lot of control and composure in karate. Like, how's that working?
Yeah, it's not about anger at all. It's
you seem very chill and happy. It's good.
Yeah, no, it's forms. It's really about learning a new skill, like a totally new skill, and it would be similar to like learning to swing dance or to samba or something, right? Like you're learning a whole series of coordinated moves, and what are you supposed to be doing? And so it's good brain food as well as just exercise.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I actually feel like I'd be pretty bad at that, but it probably means I need to do it.
Like, but it's okay.
Get those other parts of your brain going and all that sort of thing. So good on you for tackling a new challenge. So awesome. Well, look, thanks for sharing. Thanks for joining, Cake. It's been a wonderful discussion. I'm sure everybody's learned a lot. So thanks a lot, Rachel.
Thank you. I appreciate the conversation as well. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and hit us up if you need anything. And thanks again. Bye for now.
Will do. Bye.